My name is Christy, and I am a housing specialist with Hope Housing Lutheran Social Services, and I work with assisting people to find housing and to keep housing. I also work with property managers and tenants as a liaison to solve problems between tenants and property managers. Today I'm here to give you some tips and tricks on how to be good renters and how to keep your housing, and also to make sure that you are aware of your rights as a tenant. So let's start with places to look for housing. Where do you look for housing? You can go to rental sites, Zillow, HotPads, Trulia, Rent.com, and of course you can always go to your local housing agencies in your city or county, and they can help find housing for you. Try and stay away from places like Marketplace and Craigslist unless you know for sure that they are reputable. They tend to be, a lot of the posts that are on these two sites tend to be scams. How do you know if you're getting scammed? If a property manager asks you for money up front before meeting them or seeing a property, you don't ever want to do that. Don't ever give banking information. A property owner that is asking you for your banking information is not a reputable company. They may on your application ask you the name of your bank as a rental reference, but other than that, they should never ask for your banking information. When you're looking for housing, ask yourself 3 questions. Is it close to transportation if you need public transportation? Is it close to the school if you have children? And is it close to your employment if you need to walk or if you need to take public transportation? When you're calling to talk to a property manager, always be courteous, and when talking to them, be confident, don't overshare, and also find out information such as, do they work with barriers? Do you have evictions? Do you have a criminal history? Do they work with housing vouchers? These are all questions to ask yourself. Next, when you go to tour a unit, ask these questions. Are the grounds clean? What does the building look like? Is the unit clean? Is it in good shape? Does it look like a nice neighborhood, or at least a neighborhood where you could see yourself living? Ask them how they handle repairs. This is important because there are a lot of rules around apartment repairs. While you're waiting for them to give you an answer on your application, don't call the property manager unless it's been at least over 7 days, because calling them a lot makes them think that you may be a problem tenant. Okay, when you are signing a lease, before you go to the lease signing, ask them what you need to bring. Make sure that you have any documents that they have asked you to bring. Do you need proof of income? Do you need funds? If you are getting assistance with those funds, have they sent a guarantee letter? Also, when you're doing your lease signing, make sure that you do a final walkthrough before you sign the lease. Go through the unit, make sure it's in good repair. If there's anything that looks broken, or if there's stains on the carpet, any of these things, make sure you document this and sign it. Have your property manager sign it. Take pictures. This is always a good thing too. This is going to help you when you move out, and it will help you get your security deposit back. Always ask questions. If you have them on your lease, ask when your lease is up. Always get a copy of your lease that's been signed by yourself and the property manager. This protects you, and this has all of the information in it that's needed for you to be a good renter. It also tells you all the rules so that you can follow them and again be a good renter. I can't stress enough how important it is to have documentation to protect yourself. This is both for your lease and any payments that you make. Any payments that you make, never ever pay in cash. A property owner or manager should never ask you to pay in cash. You can pay by cashier's check, you can pay by a regular check, you can pay with a money order, never pay cash. And always get receipts for any payments that you make. This protects you because most people are honest, some are not, and also mistakes happen, things get lost. This protects you. If you end up paying through a tenant portal, always get a confirmation. It's best to take a screenshot every month of that confirmation just to prove, so that you have proof if you ever have to go to court that you have actually paid your rent. When you're moving in, again, always do a walkthrough before moving in. This protects you at move out and helps you with your security deposit. If you don't document it when you move in, then there's no proof that there was a stain on the carpet, there was a crack in the wall, there was a hole in the closet door. You have no proof of this unless you document it before move-in. Look at when your lease ends. Always ask how long you have. If you plan on moving out at the end of your lease, do you have 30 days? Do you have 60 days? Always ask how long you have before, how much notice you have to give before your lease is up. You should be given the opportunity to renew your lease at least 1 month and 1 day before the end of your lease. They may give you the option of renewing your lease at an increased price. They may only give you the option of going month to month. They can give you a non-lease renewal if they give you 30 days plus 1 month and 1 day. They can give you a non-lease renewal. Just keep in mind, if you decide to do a month-to-month lease, there usually is an extra charge for that. When moving in, be courteous. Ask them the best route into the building or onto the property. Try not to scuff walls. Remember that you have neighbors. Try not to be overly loud. If you're in an upstairs apartment, remember that you have neighbors underneath you that may be used to quiet, and just be courteous of your neighbors. Ask about utilities. Who pays the utilities? How do you get the utilities in your name? Are the utilities paid by the tenant? Are they paid by the property owner? And ask whose responsibility it is to get these utilities into your name. Where are you supposed to park? Is there off-street parking? Do you have a garage? Where is your garage located? Is there a fee for your garage? Is there off-street parking? If there is off-street parking, ask if there is a charge for it, because that is something that property owners are doing now, is charging for off-street parking. Make sure that you know what day that your rent is due. Is your rent due on the 1st? Is there a grace period at all? If your rent is going to be late, is there a late fee? Ask them the date is it late after the 5th? Is it late after the 3rd? Is it expected right on the 1st? And make sure that you know how much that late fee is. Always communicate with your property manager if you're having trouble paying your rent. If you communicate, they are going to be much more willing to work with you. Never assume that a property manager is going to just wait for their rent and that they're going to just be okay with you paying late. Make sure to communicate. Let's talk about renter's insurance. Why do we need renter's insurance? Bottom line, you need renter's insurance to cover your stuff. Because if something happens, there's a flood, there's a fire, the property is not going to pay for your stuff. That is going to be your responsibility. And also now, most properties are making it mandatory on move-in that you have some sort of renter's insurance. When asking for repairs, put it in writing. Always put everything in writing, take a picture, and then ask your property owner or manager how they would like you to let them know that repairs need to be made. Do they want a text message, a phone call? Do they live in the building? Do they want you to knock on their door? But always put it in writing. Once it's in writing, they have 14 days for non-emergent issues to fix your problem. If not, you can put it into rent escrow. If you have questions about rent escrow, you can go to your local courthouse. You can look it up online. With emergency repairs, things like you don't have heat, you don't have electricity, you don't have a fridge, you don't have running water, you don't have a toilet, They have 24 hours to fix this. Otherwise, you can also go to the courthouse and file for an emergency tenant act. Let's talk about evictions. A property can only evict you for certain reasons. They can evict you for non-payment of rent. They can evict you for a lease violation. They can evict you for not moving out after a non-lease renewal. They cannot evict you until you go to court. If you have to go to court for an eviction and you are trying to stay in the place that you're renting, be on time to court, bring all the documents with you, bring the payment, and also you will need to pay the court filing fees. They will give you a grace period of up to 7 days to pay those filing fees. A property manager can never lock you out of your apartment, change your locks, or turn off your utilities in the middle of a rent or an eviction process. How do you get your security deposit back? Always make sure that you give proper notice. Again, this should be stated clearly in your lease. Most places now are a 60-day notice. Otherwise, always give at least 1 month and 1 day. Leave a forwarding address. Leave the unit in good repair. Leave it like it was when you moved in. Property managers and owners have 21 days to return your security deposit to you. Make sure that, again, you give them a forwarding address so that they have a place to send it. And also, if they do not give you your full security deposit back, they must send you an itemized list of reasons why they did not give you your full security deposit back. They can only charge for things like painting, carpet cleaning, patching holes. They cannot charge you for normal wear and tear on a rental unit. Domestic violence. You have the right to move in a domestic violence situation. If you need to move because of a domestic violence situation, give as much notice as possible. Make sure that you try and give them, if you can't, it's not mandatory, but try and give them some sort of documentation. If you have police reports, if you have a copy of your order of protection, but again, you do not, this is not mandatory. Try and give them as much notice as possible. Property owners cannot ask you the name of your abuser. They cannot evict you for being a victim of domestic violence, and they cannot ask the name, or they cannot tell anyone that you are a victim of domestic violence. Let's talk about some important new laws in 2024. There can be no hidden fees that pop up after you have signed your lease. They can't suddenly say, well, we're tacking on $100 because we pay the utilities. Any fees must be clearly stated on the front page of the lease for you to look at and sign. They cannot, if it is a pet friendly or you have a emotional support animal, they cannot ask you to declaw or devocalize your animal. They must inform tenants of their right to have a pre-move-in walkthrough with the property manager. This must be within 14 days of move-in. Always do this before you move anything into the apartment. They also must give you a move-out walkthrough 5 days before you leave your apartment. They must give you 24-hour written notice before entering your apartment for non-emergent reasons, things like inspections, maintenance, repairs. They do not have to give notice if it's something of an emergency. If there's a clog, there's a leak, something is flooding, there's smoke, those sorts of things. Unless you can make other arrangements with them. If you get on a good basis with your property owner or manager, you can text them and say, hey, that time's not going to work for me. Normally they have between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. to go into your unit. Maybe you need them to go in at 7. Try and work that out with them. Let's talk about the new marijuana laws. It is legal to smoke marijuana at your residence unless it is a subsidized housing, which is a federal program. Then it is not legal. They can tell you that you cannot smoke in common areas or in your unit. If they have a no smoking policy, they can tell you that you can't smoke inside the unit or in any common areas. You can smoke outside. They may make you walk off the property. They must give you a 14-day notice of intent to evict. What are some resources that you have? Homeline is a really great resource for tenants. They have lawyers there that work specifically for Homeline to answer any questions that you have, and also sometimes they do assist you in court cases. You can talk to your local legal aid, and also your local housing agencies can assist you with getting help if you have a legal issue with the property that you're living at. Let's just recap. A couple of things. Always be honest on your application. If you're not honest, they're still going to find out. They're going to do a background check. They're going to look into you. If you're not honest, this is usually an automatic decline of your application. Always get things in writing. Get a signed copy of your lease, receipts for your payments. Never paying cash. Get confirmation of online payments. And again, get a signed copy of your lease that has the property manager's signature on it. That's what I have for you today. Thank you all for coming.